Hello and welcome to our February Council meeting for Corangamite Shire. I'm Kate Macon, the Mayor of Corangamite Shire, and I will now do the prayer. Welcome, sorry. I'm a bit flustered today, sorry. I'll introduce the rest of the councillors around the table. I have my Deputy Mayor, Laurie Hickey, Councillor Ruth Castrain, Councillor Joe Beard, Councillor Jamie Vogels, Councillor Geraldine Canady and Councillor Nick Cole. We also have quite a few of our directors and managers around the table today as well. So we have Mr Sean Broadbent, Director of Works and Services, Miss Justine Lindley, Director of Sustainable Development, Miss Katie McMahon, Manager of Economy and Prosperity. I'm moving on to Mr Jared Woff. Welcome back, Jared. Nice to see you back around the table. Manager of Facilities and Recreation. I have Mr Matthew Berry, Manager of Planning and Building Services, sitting over in the wings. He's going to come and join us in a moment. I also have Mr David Harrington, Director of Corporate and Community Services. I have Miss Jackie Thomas, Manager of Finance. I have Miss Catherine Anderson, Manager of Governance and Civic Support. And last but not least, Mr David Ray, Chief Executive Officer. I think I managed to get everyone around the table, so thank you. I'll move on to the prayer. We ask for guidance and blessing on this council. May the true needs and well-being of our communities be our concern. Help us who serve as leaders to remember that all our decisions are made in the best interest of the people, culture and the environment of the Corangamite Shire. Amen. Corangamite Shire acknowledges and pays respects to the Eastern Maar and Wadawurrung peoples as the traditional owners of the lands that we work, live and play. We also acknowledge their elders, past and present, and recognise their ongoing cultural, spiritual and education practices. Mr CEO, is there any apologies for today?
Madam Mayor, there are no apologies.
Do we have any conflicts of interest?
Madam Mayor, there are no conflicts of interest from councillors.
Excellent. Moving on, item number 5, confirmation of minutes for the 28th of January 2025. Do I have a mover for that one, please? Councillor Castrain, Councillor Hickey, all those in favour? Pass, thank you. We have no deputation or presentations tonight. We have no committee reports and no planning reports. So I'll move straight on to number 9, officer reports. 9.1 is rates and charges, collection and hardship policy. Ms Thomas.
Thank you, and through you, Madam Mayor. The purpose of this policy is to provide council with a framework that sets out the process for providing financial relief to individuals and businesses requiring assistance with the payment of rates and charges on the ground of hardship. The rates and charges hardship policy has been rewritten to comply with the current guidelines relating to the payment of rates and charges to 2023, and they reflect the best practice in this area. It should be noted that these guidelines are currently not legislated, and the policy will be updated if there are changes required following the legislation process. Madam Mayor, the recommendations are before you.
Thank you. Councillors, as a recommendation, do I have a mover for that one, please? Councillor Beard, seconded Councillor Castrain. Councillor Beard.
Thank you, and through you, Madam Mayor. No, this is actually a really significant policy that has probably been tested numerous times and required upon for many of our ratepayers, and probably now more so than ever during the times of hardship and especially in terms of cost of living and just the way the life in general costs are going up. And it's no secret that we sympathise with all our ratepayers, we being ratepayers just like everybody else. And it's important that we have this policy in place to support the fact that people can have an option on how they can actually pay those rates out. It's always been one of those things, we probably don't advertise it enough, that we do have payment options in place, and we don't want it to be looked upon as a negative thing if someone has a payment option in place. It's actually just to make life easier. And that's why it's really significant that we have an updated policy which we're looking at today. Obviously, there's been some changes too around compliance for guidelines, that we need to adhere to, that needed to be rewritten in. So a few cosmetic changes here and there. But generally, I think this hardship policy, the tone of it to me really sympathises with what is reality of life now, and that there needs to be options just to make life easier for people. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Beard. Councillor Castrain.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor, and through you. And I totally concur with what Councillor Beard has said around this policy and indeed around payment plans, but there are other options available about deferment or waiver of rates, and I certainly urge anyone who's undergoing financial hardship, and it might be loss of employment through family violence situation, or a family breakdown, a death or an illness of somebody in the family. So please don't let the debt accrue. Get in touch with our staff and certainly talk through your options. So happy to move this policy, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Constraint. Is there Councillor Hickey?
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, the hardship assistance application is available online, and I agree with what Councillor Constraint has just said. Please make sure that you get in early and make sure that you have discussions with the staff, because the last thing we want to see is costs escalating to a stage where sometimes it could be insurmountable. So that hardship application, assistance application form is online, and I encourage people to look at that. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Hickey. Any other commentary? Councillor Cole.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I agree completely. It's a good thing we offer and things like that. But I will note that we have to levy the fire and services levy, and that is a levy and is picked up by the state government, and we have to collect it. We can't get out. You can't get out of that one. You still have to pay it, and it's put on your rates notice. And it looks as if you're getting a massive big rate increase. Most of it is fire and emergency services levy, which still has to be paid, unfortunately.
Thank you, Councillor Cole. Any other commentary?
Sorry, just right of
Right,
reply.
thank you,
Sorry,
Councillor
Madam Mayor.
Beard.
I think that's a really good point, Councillor Cole, that you said. And I think a lot of the time we open up the envelope when we get the rates, but we don't look further at it. We just see the number at the end and think, wow, and it's straight away council's fault. I think it's important, and it's an education tool that we're trying to find what's the best way to give as much information as we can that's practical for our residents or our ratepayers to understand how there's options available, firstly around how to pay for it, but why the rates notice is the way it is. And it's not all just based on the rates that council have on your property. It is other levies that are out of our control. And there will probably be a significant shift in the next rates notice based on the Emergency Volunteer Services Fund. Which I've just come out of an emergency management meeting online just now, and it's pretty safe to say that all local government, especially rural councils, are going to making some pretty decent submissions in regards to us having to be the collectors of that fund, of that levy. So rest assured there'll be more to come on that, because ultimately we're having to collect the tax on behalf of the state government, but yet we're the ones that end up with the reputational damage, and we're the ratepayers too. So we will certainly be working hard to try and stand up on behalf of our ratepayers in that regard. But the biggest thing is educating yourself on what is involved in that rates notice, and not just jumping to the conclusions that that's the number, that's what it has to be. There's multiple ways in which you can be educated on how you can go about your rates notice, and particularly around the payment options.
Thank you for the reply, Councillor Beard. There's no other commentary on that one, obviously. Can I put it to the vote, please? All those in favour? Carried. Thank you. Moving on to item 9.2, Councillor Gift Policy. Ms Anderson.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Through you. The purpose of the councillor gift policy is to provide guidance to councillors relating to gifts and or benefits offered to them. The policy has been developed to ensure transparency and the principles of good governance and accountability are practiced by councillors when being offered gifts, benefits and hospitality in the course of their duties. The policy also ensures compliance with Section 138 of the Local Government Act 2020. The policy has been reviewed and updated with the following changes made. Updated definitions and references, the inclusion of the gift test that provides guidance on the assessment of any offers of a gift. This includes the consideration of G, the giver of the gift, I, whether there is any influence exerted, F, are they seeking favour in return, and T, could acceptance of the gift reduce trust. And finally, the inclusion of examples of when gifts must be refused. In reviewing the policy, the Local Government Inspectorate examples of best practice were reviewed, and also consultation with governance officers in other councils in the region. Madam Mayor, the recommendation before you is to revoke the councillor gift policy of January 2021 and adopt the councillor gift policy February 2025. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Ms Anderson. Councillors, there's a recommendation before us. Do I have a mover for that one, please? Councillor Hickey. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Vogels. Councillor Hickey.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. It's very detailed policy and a tricky area, the councillor gift policy. Is in this new policy, there's some clearer definitions, which makes it easier for us to understand. And I think we all do understand as a group sitting at the table the implications of accepting gifts. And I think because of that, there's a number of us who would probably reject a gift at any one particular time. But the point I'd like to make is that that doesn't necessarily show any sign of disrespect. It's just that it's a perceived influence that someone may be having over a councillor. So it's sometimes a lot safer to refuse a gift rather than just to accept it and go through the policies of having to justify that gift.
Thank you, Councillor Hickey. Councillor Vogels.
Well, I think, Madam Mayor, not much or nothing to add. I think it's just procedural. It's time to be renewed, and it just ensures transparency and good governance.
Thank you, Councillor Vogels. Any other commentary? If not, I'll put the recommendation to a vote. All those in favour? Carried. Thank you. I move on to item 9.3, community engagement policy. Ms McMahon.
Thank you, Mayor. The Council's current community engagement policy was adopted by Council in February 2021 and is now due for review. The policy outlines Council's commitment to community engagement and the right of the community to be part of Council's decision-making processes. The policy guides the planning, designing and delivering of community engagement. An updated policy has been drafted. Key changes in the revised policy include rewording to ensure clarity and current language and terminology is used. We've added definitions. We've updated the council commitments for each engagement principle, including additional commitments. We've renamed sections of the policy, such as community engagement framework, and within this section we've outlined why we engage, who we engage with, when we engage, and how we engage. The existing policy outlined 8 steps for planning, implementation, and evaluation of engagement, which has been simplified to 4 key overarching stages of engagement: plan, deliver, implement, and finalise. We've also reworded levels of responsibility to ensure current titles and included additional people. Council will soon be undertaking important community engagement to inform development of a new council plan, a refresh of the community vision, and other strategic council documents. This updated policy will guide our upcoming engagement. The recommendation before you is to revoke the Community Engagement Policy 2021 and adopt the updated policy dated 2025. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms McMahon. Councillors, there's a recommendation before us. Do I have a mover, please? Councillor Beard. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Kennedy. Councillor Beard, please.
Through you, Madam Mayor, and this is a really important document, or policy I should say. We've had this in place for quite a few years now, and it has somewhat changed, but one thing that hasn't changed is our commitment to the fact that we involve the community in all of the decisions that we make and a lot of the projects that we're rolling out. So I think the terminology, if anything, is more around the transparency and what's expected in the believability from the community first and foremost, but also there's a direction for staff and us as councillors that we know which role that we're playing around our informing of the community. So it's a really definitive policy that I think it's relatable, but also sets out pretty clear examples of when we're intending to engage, what that engagement formula is going to look like. So it just means everyone's kept in, everyone's on the same page. Because when we say the word engage, there could be multiple things. So, and people can transpire that into sometimes whatever they like. But when we've got clear direction around what that commitment is actually going to look like, I think it's just better for everybody. So yeah, this policy was due for a change, and especially around the wording. And its relatability, and I think this is a really great example of achieving that. So happy to move this recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Beard. Councillor Kennedy.
Thank you, Mayor. I think the policy, the content of the policy really demonstrates that important element to much of our work, like the community engagement is so important to a lot of what we do. And we want to do it effectively and build that strong relationship with the community, because, you know, we must remember that a lot of the decisions we make are on behalf of the community, and it's really important to have community input and feedback to help inform the decisions that we make. I'd say that the purpose of the policy, if you go and have a read that, it outlines council's commitment to community engagement. So it truly is important to us, and it's further strengthened by that willingness to receive feedback from the community and to take account of it when we go forward to make decisions. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Canady. Any other commentary? If not, I put the recommendation to a vote. All those in favour? Carried. Thank you. I move on to item 9.4, Council Annual Action Plan Performance July to December. Ms Anderson.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and through you. The annual action plan is derived from the council plan, a strategic document which sets out the priorities and direction of the council via strategic objectives, strategies to achieve the objectives, and indicators to measure council progress. Council is required to report on its performance against the council plan, including results in relation to strategic indicators for the first 6 months each financial year. There are 61 actions identified in the annual action plan, with some positive early work being undertaken on the majority of them. As at 31 December 2024, 39 of the annual actions were in progress, 8 of the annual action items were completed, and 14 annual action items were not started. The full year performance indicators will be included in Council's annual report. Madam Mayor, the recommendation before you is that Council receives the annual action plan progress report for July to December 2024. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Ms Anderson. Councillors, there's a recommendation before us. Do I have a mover for that one, please? Councillor Castrain, do I have a seconder, please? Councillor Cole. Councillor Castrain.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and through you. And as we've just heard from Ms Anderson, there's certainly been a lot of work already completed or is currently in progress, which is fantastic. The annual action plan is set by council beginning of each year, and it really is the worksheet for our staff. So it's great to see so many projects that are underway. Just a couple I want to note, and I know there has been some media coverage in the last few weeks, is around the mobile tower at Nurut, and that's something that we thought we perhaps had ticked off a couple of years ago, but we're still waiting to tick it off, and I'm sure Councillor Canady's looking forward to eventually her and her fellow Nuratians having decent mobile network coverage. Also like to mention the Binfo app. If you're out there and you haven't downloaded the Binfo app from Corangamite's website, it's a fantastic app which tells you what bin to put out when, and importantly what to put in each bin as you're filling them up during the week. So that's a great initiative. As well as what we call informally Mega March, and we just talked about the community engagement policy, and this is going to be a very busy time in March. We're hoping to engage with people right across Corangamite Shire to give us some direction, their ideas, their thoughts on what they love about Corangamite Shire, what they think they'd like to see improved, their suggestions for the future, some innovative thoughts I'm looking forward to. So lots of opportunities to drive council plan and the community vision, as well as opportunities around the structure plans for Camperdown and the Terrain. So there will be advertising out there with the dates in March, and if you'd like to have your say, it's a great opportunity. Thanks, Madam Mayor.
Thanks, Councillor Castrain. Councillor Cole.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd just like to say it's a fairly broad document. There's lots of different things happening, coming up. Some are in progress, some are started, some are still yet to be started. But it's a lot of different things happening. There's Small Halls Festival in Skipton's going on soon. It's a big, broad document, so there's a lot to keep everyone occupied, from footpaths right through to all sorts of different things. It just keeps us on track and keeps us going, hopefully. So, yeah.
Thank you, Councillor Cole. Any other commentary? If not, I put the Councillor Canady, sorry.
Sorry, just a small thing. Thanks, Mayor. You'll agree with me, with Councillor Cole, that the amount of activity in this plan is actually really expensive. It's not expensive. It is expensive, but extensive is what I meant to say. And it's sort of quite breathtaking, really. And it covers just so many different elements. You know, connectivity was one that I had on my list, Council with Australian, for Newark, and we're hoping to get an adequate outcome for Newark from Telstra. But also just work around business growth and housing, throughout the Trestle estate in Timboon, and encouraging opportunities for young people. And I think our traineeship program is a really terrific initiative that's been undertaken within council. But without going on about all of that too much longer, I do want to thank the ELT and the organisation for implementing this plan, because we make decisions, but it's the organisation that gets the work done, and we really appreciate that. Your effectiveness, your organisation, your great planning, because the work gets done and we get the outcomes, and that's for the benefit of our community. So I'm grateful for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Kennedy. Any other commentary? If not, I put the recommendation to a vote. All those in favour? Carried. Thank you. I move on to item 9.5, Local Government Performance Indicators Report for the 6-month period ending 31st of December 2024. Ms Anderson.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and through you. The Local Government Performance Reporting Framework is a mandatory system of reporting to ensure all councils are measuring and reporting their performance through a consistent set of indicators. There are currently 82 mandatory indicators in the framework. The indicators will be reported in the 2024-2025 annual report and will assist council to monitor its performance over time and benchmark performance on an annual basis with other councils. Some of the indicators will be audited by the Victorian Auditor General's Office and form part of the performance statement. The 6-month period provides provisional results for the period July to December 2024. The mandated indicators and measures are grouped into 3 areas: service performance, which is 40 indicators across 9 services; financial performance, which is 12 finance indicators; sustainability, which has 6 indicators relating to sustainable capacity; 24 indicators relating to governance and management. Full year performance indicators are available to the public via the Victorian Government's website Know Your Council comparison dashboard, and as I said earlier, it will also be contained in the annual report. Madam Mayor, the recommendation before you is that the council notes the 6-month provisional results for the period ending 31 December 2024 for the legislated performance indicators under the Local Government Planning and Reporting Regulations 2020. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Ms Anderson. I think you've won the title, the most longest title for today, so well done. Council, there's a recommendation before us. Do we have a mover for that one, please? Councillor Kennedy. Do I have a seconder, please? Councillor Beard.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yes, there's 82 mandatory indicators in this report. That's a lot of judgment, but it's welcome, because it's actually quite helpful to us to monitor the work that we're doing, how we're progressing. It also can help us identify opportunities that maybe we can make some improvements on. So, look, it's interesting to read the report. As I say, it's got its uses. Sadly, it costs us a lot to put this together each year, but it's a regulatory thing that we must do. But at the same time, it can be useful for helping us to improve our operations as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Kennedy. Councillor Beard.
Thank you, and through you, Madam Mayor. Councillor Kennedy took many words out of my mouth, which doesn't always happen, as I keep getting told that I say too much. But no, as much as we don't like it, we've spoken about this many years since it's been put on us to have to do. Whether we like it or not, we have to do it. Yes, it costs us money, so we might as well get something out of it in return. It's all about accountability and transparency as far as I'm concerned. We get to benchmark ourselves across the other councils within Victoria. So if you look at it like that, it always does prove how amazing Corangamite Shire is, and what a pretty incredible organisation in terms of productivity and efficiencies. That, this really is a bit of a report card that we can say it's actually really good. So if anything, it's a great reference for us as council when we're setting our budget, particularly, but also for staff. If there is anything that's not tracking as much as we would like it to, you can usually put a finger on it and you know exactly what it is. And there's a comment, and you can actually see that in the reporting of this. Anything that raises a little red flag, excuse me, and I'll say a little red flag because there's no ever big red flags. There's a reason for it. And it's usually being managed, or, you know, there's something happening already in the background to make sure that that's being mitigated. So, as I said, as much as we've complained about it, we have to do it whether we like it or not. I'm very reassured. We talked about it earlier. Councillor Kennedy alluded to it, that we are, you know, we're making the most of it by using it to our advantage. But I do, again, and I know we probably say this each time, it really is a really impressive framework to look back on and just see how well the organisation is tracking. And when it's compared with other councils, we should all be really, really proud. So, yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Beard. Any other commentary? If not, I'll put the recommendation to a vote. All those in favour? Carried. Thank you. I move on to item 9.6, December 2024 Finance Report and Mid-Year Budget Review. Ms Thomas.
Thank you, and through you, Madam Mayor. This report is to note Council's current financial position as at 31st December 2024 and to approve $455,000 of favourable changes to the current budget. This has resulted from a mid-year review of operations. The $455,000 favourable variance is made up of many unders and overs, with main contributors as follows. The Port Campbell Streetscape project required an additional $500,000 to cover unforeseen construction costs. This is the same allocation as discussed at the January Council meeting. The Crawfords Road construction project has incurred an additional $320,000 due to the necessary rehabilitation and extra work. Footpath maintenance has seen an increase due to dry weather conditions, adding an additional $137,000 to costs. Now noting some of the favourable variations, there has been an increase in roads to recovery funding, which has provided an additional $278,000. The composting system biochar project, initially planned at $250,000, did not receive funding to progress. The Park Lane footpath was fully funded by a $500,000 TIC grant, which eliminated the need for council to contribute $262,000. There has also been a $200,000 increase in investment income due to higher cash holdings and strong market interest rates. Overall, council's cash surplus at year end is on target and will be used to form the starting position of the 2025-26 budget. Madam Mayor, the recommendations are before you.
Thank you, Ms Thomas. Councillors, there's a recommendation for us. Do I have a mover, please? Councillor Hickey. Do I have a seconder, please? Councillor Gastrain. Councillor Hickey.
Hey, thank you, Mayor. The variations to do with any budget are like any household budget we manage. In this case, there's a lot more zeros on the end of it, but a budget is simply a budget. The best advice and the best case scenario means that that's what we allow our costs to go towards. That doesn't always occur, and so the actuals that come in do reflect or make a variation necessary to the actual budget. The variations here are covered again by the 6 month report. And I'd say we're tracking along very well. And interesting, the projects that haven't been started, that money which sits on cash deposit, I understand, is returning some very favourable interest to us to help shore up the budget as we speak. But I'm happy to move that we accept this report as a 6 month report ending the 31st of December 2024.
Thank you, Councillor Hickey. Councillor Gastrain.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor, and thank goodness for roads to recovery, an extra $278,000. That's greatly appreciated. And that, as I've said many times, that fund has been going now for close on 25 years. So what it's delivered to local roads in Corangamite has been absolutely fantastic. I do have a question though, and without notice, and it's with regards to the Crawfords Road construction that went $320,000 over. I'm wondering if I can get some further detail on that, please.
Sure. Mr Broadbent.
Thank you, and through you, Madam Mayor. Thanks for the question. The Crawfords Road project turned out to be a really challenging project for us. The latent conditions on site were extensive and we needed to do a whole lot more work in relation to the subgrade for that particular project, and the costs continue to rise. What we have now is a really great completed project, and unfortunately we can't stop when we're halfway through, but we had to deal with those latent conditions on site. We are doing more geotech testing now for future roads as well to ensure we don't get that same situation later on.
Thanks, Mr Broadbent. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
No worries. Thank you, Councillor Castrain. Is there any other commentary? Councillor Canady.
Thank you, Mayor. And thanks to Councillor Hickey and Councillor Castrain for their comments. But I also wanted to add in, and it sort of links with your question, Councillor Castrain, is that I think really an important element when we're looking at variations to the budget is that we actually know the cause and the reason for the variations. And I think our financial team are really good at providing specific information around why the variations have occurred. And we know that there will be some, because that is the case when you do a budget. It's never there's always something that comes into play that will change what you anticipate. But I just think that I think we've just got such confidence in our financial team for providing that very specific information around the cause of the variations, and quite often it can be around timing or unexpected grants, income, savings to the budget. And I feel confident that, we can ask any question and know that we're going to get, a well-informed answer. So I want to thank our finance team for that and for monitoring our budget so closely. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Canady. Any other commentary? If not, I'll put the recommendation to a vote. All those in favour? Carried. Thank you. I move on to item 9.7, Lakes Recreation Reserve Master Plan Draft for public consultation. Mr Waff.
Thank you, and through you, Madam Mayor, a draft master plan for the Lakes Recreation Reserve has been prepared to provide a strategic guide for the future use and development of that reserve, and looking at a plan for the next 10 years. There's been a project reference group established, and they've played a really important role in reviewing and providing input into the development of this plan. A range of ideas have been generated and explored with the group. They've also reviewed and provided that supporting role. And the draft master plan is now ready to be released for public consultation, feedback and comment. Councillors, the recommendation is before you.
Thank you, Mr Waff. Councillors, there's a recommendation before us. Do I have a mover for that one, please? Councillor Hickey, Councillor Castrain. Councillor Hickey.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Yes, this report reads very well. It's important to note that it is a report that's made up of the reference group of the users: the cricket club, the bowls club, the golf club, the pony club, the Hampton Tennis Association, the horse trials. Have all been consulted, and their input has been made towards the Lakes Recreation Reserve Master Plan. Of course, there's some ambitious areas that are covered throughout the report and through the desires and wants of those who need it. But nevertheless, to say it's great to have a plan, and there is no doubt it's one of the more picturesque sporting facilities that we would have going around, with the overlooking of Lake Notak in the background. I know that the users do value the site, and so it's great that they're able to have contributions to the final report. And I think the master plan it'll be made towards public consultation. So I'd encourage anybody who was interested or who was using it to have a look and just see what the report states, because it is some significant reading within that.
Thank you, Councillor Hickey. Councillor Castrain.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and through you. Yes, it was a very interesting read, and as Councillor Hickey said, there are certainly some ambitious projects that have been identified, but we're not going to get funding to have to get these works done if we don't have a plan. So it's a very valuable document. I certainly thank the contributing clubs for their input. I know that I've been up and had a meeting since with the Hampton Tennis Association about their club rooms and their needs. So, yeah, put it out to public comment, see what people think. It's certainly a very well-loved and appreciated facility up there by the many user groups. So it'll be interesting to see the feedback we get from the plan. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Castrain. Is there any other commentary? Councillor Beard.
Yeah, just quickly through you, Madam Mayor. I think we often, because there's so many user groups up there at the Lakes Reserve, and everyone has these ambitious ideas or just, that's what they'd like to see for the future of their club and their facility. So I think it made sense to come up with this, co-creation of this master plan. And I take my hat off to each of the user groups for getting involved. And now's the time to actually get the public's, feedback on these. And because this will, as Councillor Strain and Councillor Hickey said, this does outline then potentially budget bids going forward and what can be achievable. First look at that, and it's like no different to any other master plan when it comes to draft to the council chamber. It's like, wow, your eyes do sort of go, how could we ever achieve all of this? But that's what they've come with us to, and now we sit back and we wait and see what the broader community think, and then we turn that draft now into a tangible report that doesn't just sit on a shelf. It actually does get reference to when it comes to providing funding. So, just shout out to those that have been involved in the process, because it's, as I said, very aspirational, but it's not unachievable.
Thank you, Councillor Beard. Is there any other commentary? If not, I put the recommendation to a vote. All those in favour? Carried. Thank you. I move on to item 9.8, amendment C65 Camperdown Production Precinct. Mr. Berry.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. And through you, yes, Amendment C65, it comes from the Camperdown Production Precinct Master Plan that was adopted by Council back in February 2024. It is a planning scheme amendment that has been drafted, has got authorisation sought from the Minister for Planning, and also now exhibition to the public to introduce new zoning, policy and planning controls into the planning scheme. Specifically, the key changes are to further add over 14 hectares of industrial land north of Old Geelong Road, as well as a design overlay control that seeks to deliver a high level of amenity, environmental and design standards. Throughout the exhibition, there were 3 submissions received, so one from the CFA, one from the Department of Transport and one from a local Camperdown resident. The first 2 provided commentary and did not object to it. The resident overall supported the planning scheme amendment changes and requested some updates to some of the landscaping controls, which we have done. There were also other concerns submitted about some of the existing industry and some works that had undertaken. Those concerns have been acknowledged. However, they do sit outside the actual planning scheme amendment process. So what that means is that the planning scheme amendment itself doesn't need to go to an independent planning panel to review submissions. And just with those other outstanding, we have discussed and talked with the residents separately on those, just for council's benefit. So overall, this report recommends that council adopt amendment C65 and submit it to the Minister for Planning for final approval.
Thank you, Mr. Berry. Councillors, there's a recommendation before us. Do I have a mover for that one, please? Councillor Hickey, seconder. Councillor Castrain, Councillor Hickey.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. It's a project that I've been very closely involved with, and it was great that almost 12 months ago we did adopt the production plan. The amendments do cover basically the area being made look tidier and a bit nicer. The inclusion of the 14 hectares will certainly make a significant contribution. And the planning and zoning controls, it does take time to get these amendments and these changes through. So whilst the initial plan was adopted 12 months ago, through the process of bureaucracy, it takes a long time to actually get anything done that we are trying to pursue here. So yes, it's great to see these amendments come through, and very, very happy to move the amendments.
Thank you, Councillor Hickey. Councillor Castrain.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm pleased that we've been able to sort out the issues that were raised by a nearby resident. Obviously, you don't want the sort of industrial zones impacting too much on neighbours, and I'm glad that we're going to do some additional landscaping works to certainly make the site look better. And obviously, there's some of the other issues that they've raised are things that can be addressed through planning conditions if planning permits are sought. So yes, after 12 months of adopting the plan, I'm pleased that we're able to go through with today's vote. And I think it's certainly saving council significant money. If we had to go to a planning panel, it would delay it further. So no, it's great to see this this scheme being adopted today. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Castrain. Is there any other commentary? If not, I'll put the recommendation to a vote. All those in favour? Carried. Thank you. I move on to item 9.9, tender 20250020, supply and delivery of one road sweeper. Mr. Broadbent.
Thank you, and through you, Madam Mayor. This report recommends the awarding of a contract for supply and delivery of one road sweeper or street sweeper. A tender was released through vendor panel with a detailed specification outlining the clear requirements of the unit. 3 submissions were received with 7 options presented. I can confirm the tender has been evaluated in accordance with Council's procurement policy. The new machine will continue the same street sweeping program and schedules private works as the existing machine currently completes. The tender determined the best overall value for council was the tender submission from KOR Equipment. KOR is recognised as an experienced supplier in the provision of a plant of this nature. I can also confirm the tendered price is within council's heavy fleet budget. It is recommended that council award the supply and delivery of the street sweeper to KOR Equipment Solutions with a tendered price of $526,918 and accept the trade-in offer as part of the purchase. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Broadbent. Councillors, there's a recommendation before us. Do I have a mover for that one, please? Councillor Cole, do I have a seconder, please? Councillor Vogels, Councillor Cole.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The boys like moving big machinery toys. I think this is it's updating the fleet, keeping it efficient and keeping it going. We all know that when equipment gets old, it starts causing problems, costs more, so you've got to keep updating and replacing equipment. And this is just one of the bits that has come up for renewal, and we need it. It does a good job, and will in the future too.
Thank you, Councillor Cole. Councillor Vogels.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I concur with Nicholas. Machines don't last forever and need replacing, and this one's obviously up for replacing. I think the main highlight here is 50k dearer than expected, which runs in line with the cost of living and the cost of doing business. But that's the best tender, and I'm sure that in the background they've done all the checks and balances. And congratulations, KOR Equipment, for winning the contract.
Thank you, Councillor Vogels. Councillor Canady.
Yeah, just one little thing to add into that. I did notice in the report that the extra 51,000 that the machine costs is that money's going to be picked up through some limiting the remaining purchases that were scheduled in the heavy plant renewal schedule. So we're making savings. We're only buying what we can afford. We're not making savings, but we're just staying within the budget.
Thank you, Councillor Canady. Any other commentary? If not, I'll put the recommendation to a vote. All those in favour? Carried. Thank you. I move on to item 9.10, the MAV State Council motion. Mr. Ray.
Madam Mayor, thank you. And through you, the Municipal Association of Victoria State Council will be conducted mid-May, and motions are now open for submission by councils, and they must be submitted by the 17th of March. Following conversation with councillors, it's proposed that council submit a motion advocating on the proposed Emergency Services and Volunteers Fund levy. It's quite a controversial matter in the sector at the present time, and it will replace the Fire Services Property Levy from the 1st of July. The key issues for consideration that have been discussed with council is in regard to limited community benefit. The levy is expected to remove almost $9 million from the local economy. That's an additional $4.3 million over the Fire Services levy. And probably with minimal return back to emergency services. It will place a financial burden on rural communities and could double the cost for some ratepayers, particularly farmers and, given the quantum of the levy, the potential for job losses and economic hardship, particularly in the cost of living crisis. There are a range of other concerns that council has, but the motion is before you, council, effectively calling on the MAB to request the Victorian government to reassess the funding model, shift levy collection back to the state government, compensate councils for costs if collection duties remain, and improve the communication with communities on how the levy will be used and allocated. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr Ray. Councillors, there's a recommendation before us. Do I have a mover for that one, please? Councillor Beard, Councillor Castrain. Councillor Beard.
Thank you, through you, Madam Mayor. I actually thought Councillor Cole was going to move this
So
one.
did I.
We've listened to a lot of Councillor Cole's, I don't know, he's passed on a lot of what he's hearing up around the northern part of the Shire, which is certainly significant, and it is Shire-wide. I've just, I alluded to before that I'd just come off an MAV, Emergency Management Advisory Committee meeting, where I raised this motion that we'll be putting in a submission. Safe to say there is multiple submissions going in that they already have already received and are aware are coming in time for the State Council meeting. So this is going to be a really topical motion, but it's one of those ones that is good to hear that we're all on the same page. So we're really hoping our Metro councils get behind us on this, because it's going to impact the rural regional councils more so, like most things do, when there's been that thought bubble of someone in state governments thought of and thought, yep, sounds good in theory, but haven't actually thought about the practice of it and the implications of it. So, and all we're saying is, where's the fairness in it, and also why do we again have to collect the state government tax, which could be of absolute no benefit to us, but is another cost impost. Not only cost, it's time, it's, we want our staff to be doing stuff for our residents, what they're employed to do, not collecting a state government levy that, as I said, has just been thought of and sounds like a great idea, but is actually a good idea on paper, but not in theory. So, this is a pretty straight to the point letter, our submission, which is great. That's what we want it to be, pretty clear and concise. But I can tell you now from the meeting I've just got off, it's going to be one of many, which means we're united, which is what we need as a local government sector. This is how we get things changed, and we're doing it for our communities.
Thank you, Councillor Beard. Councillor Castrain.
I don't think I've got anything to add. Madam Mayor, I think Councillor Beard has said it, and as a current MAV board member, I absolutely agree with you. There are a lot of motions being submitted to State Council to do with this. It's a phenomenal amount of work that's being pushed onto local government, and the impost on our staff to administer this. It's very unclear. It's very blurred around the edges about how they're going to go ahead with this, but in some cases the fire services levy and under the new genre of the ESVL, over 100% increase, and we've heard from Councillor Cole many times over the last few weeks about what this figure looks like on his rate notice, and it's quite scary. So I think the state government really need to rethink this. Absolutely incentivise people volunteering for emergency services, but this isn't the way of going about it, by dragging local government in to do the admin.
Thank you, Councillor Castrain. Any other commentary? Councillor Cole, I'm looking straight at you.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I wasn't going to move it because I didn't know whether. Anyway, I'm going to have a go now. It's just, it's not right, I don't think. I've got a lot of issues with the whole thing. On the weekend, I actually did a training course with the CFA, with a paid CFA person, and he's not happy with it at all either. He said it's basically just going to prop up the urban fire brigades, the paid staff in Melbourne, so they can push it all down there. And I think it seems to be state. A lot of this was his words, some of it's mine, but it's a state government that can't control their finances and just trying to gouge as much as they can out of anywhere they can get it, and we're a bit of a soft target as far as they can see, so that's pushing it onto us. So there are a lot of other things I could say, but I'm going to leave it there. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Cole. Is there any other commentary? Can I just say on behalf of Rural Council Victoria, we're also behind this and think this is a very bad impulse on rural councils. We shouldn't have to be wearing the brunt of this as well. But I think my fellow councillors have said it as well. So rural councils are definitely fighting for every councillor in the rural and regional areas and making sure that their voices are heard loud and clear. So hopefully we can get a little bit of traction and a few answers back from the state government on this one if we all put up a fight together. So all those in favour of the recommendation? Thank you. Carried, thanks. I move on to item 9.11, council attendance at the 2024 Australian Local Government Association National General Assembly. Ms Anderson.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and through you. Each year, the Australian Local Government Association organises the National General Assembly of Local Government held in Canberra. This year, the National General Assembly will be held between the 24th and 27th of June. The National General Assembly provides Corangamite Shire councillors with the opportunity to engage with the federal government and key ministers. It is the opportunity to advocate for new and expanded programs and key policy initiatives that could strengthen local governments and their capacity to deliver services, infrastructure to local communities. The advocacy aligns with the Council Plan Theme 5 of Council advocate strongly and respectfully on issues that matter to our community. It is estimated that costs of attendance is approximately $4,400 per councillor. This includes conference registration, flights and accommodation. However, this amount is dependent on accommodation and flight availability and does not include formal dinners, additional transport and ancillary expenses. The Chief Executive Officer has consulted with councillors regarding the opportunity for them to attend and whether representatives from the council should attend the Congress. Councillors who attend the conference are expected to present a verbal report to councillors on the event at the next available councillor briefing. Madam Mayor, the recommendation before you is that Council nominates Mayor Councillor Kate Macon and Deputy Mayor Councillor Laurie Hickey to attend the 2025 National General Assembly of Local Government and approves the expenditure related to attendance consistent with the Councillor Professional Development Policy and Council Expense Policy. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Ms Anderson. Councillors, there's a recommendation before you. Can I please have a mover for that one, please? Nobody? Councillor Castrain, can I have a seconder, please? Councillor Vogels? Councillor Castrain.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I think these local government assemblies in Canberra are really, it's important that council is represented. There's a lot of learning and there's a lot of opportunities to meet councillors from right across Australia and have discussions. And it's interesting that how local government really is the same despite the size of your municipality. There's certainly a lot to be learned and opportunities to go to Parliament House to meet with ministers, bureaucrats to push forward the issues that are facing Corangamite. So I'm happy to move that motion, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Castrain. Councillor Vogels?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yes, I'll back Ruth in her comments, or Councillor Castagne, sorry, I should say. Yeah, it's not just there to learn, you're there to teach, and you can put forward our position and situation to other councillors as well. Great opportunity to talk to with various councillors from all over the country. So, yeah, that'd be great.
Thank you, Councillor Vogels. Any other, Councillor Hickey?
Thank you, Mayor. I think everybody around the table has had the opportunity to travel to Canberra to represent the Corangamite Shire at the federal level. It is a great opportunity to be able to get an audience with federal members and their advisors, who quite often are the ones whose ear you need to get. But also I've found that the communication between the other shires is invaluable as well. We find, or sometimes we can feel ourselves as being somewhat insular in the big world, but when we get together we realise that perhaps we've got the same issues we need to confront. Other councils have some very innovative ideas that they have brought forward, and so yes, I commit to making sure that if this is passed, to represent the Corangamite Shire in the best ability that I can.
Thank you, Councillor Hickey. Is there any other commentary? If not, I put the recommendation to a vote. All those in favour? Carried. Thank you. I move on to item 9.12, the Ready Now grants November 2024 to January 2025. Ms McMahon.
Thank you, Mayor. The report before you today outlines the Ready Now grants approved between November 24 and January 25. The Ready Now grants are small, quick grants of volunteer-based community groups. 9 grants were approved, and given the timing, many are Christmas focused, including music stands for the Lakes and Crater Band, support for the annual community barbecue delivered by the Cobrico Hall of Management with catering for approximately 100 people, outdoor Christmas decorations for the Port Campbell Baptist Church, support for a festive season community event delivered by the Camperdown Theatre Company, painting materials for the Timboons Men's Shed, support for the Camperdown Uniting Church Open Door Christmas Day event, purchase of 20 Christmas trees and lights by Timboon Action Group, skills training sessions for the Timboon Basketball Association, and installation of security door at the Hampton Tennis Associations. Councillors, the recommendation before you is to note the report.
Thank you, Ms McMahon. Do I have a mover for the recommendation, please? Councillor Cole, do I have a seconder, please? Councillor Beard, Councillor Cole.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I've said it many times before. I've moved this a fair few times, but it's a great thing for communities to be able to get these small grants, and they are only small, but they help enormously. Getting just help make things a bit easier to do those little things that they need, like 4 music stands for a band. Music band might not be $440, not an insignificant amount, but it holds the music up so they can play in tune and on time. Just small things like that. It does make a massive difference, and it helps. And you know, it's $440 is a lot of cups of tea or scones that they have to sell. So if we can help out in that way, it makes a big difference. I'm more than happy to remove all those things.
Thank you, Councillor Cole. Councillor Beard.
Thank you, through you, Madam Mayor. Look, I'm literally just going to do a shout out as councillors. We need to lift our game. There is 4 months left to go. There is over half of the funds still there, and we do not like seeing funds return to revenue. So it's up to us to rally our community groups, which we do. We go to most of our community meetings. We're all part of our clubs. You know, we know where there can be some quick little wins for these, whether it's a barbecue, because that's what they've been chasing. You know, we can help them out with small funds, but it'll make a big difference. So I think as councillors, we can try and get this money spent, I reckon. You're with me?
I'm with you. It's interesting the finance team aren't.
But yeah, look, I think last year it was underspent because we changed it to the Ready Now scheme, which, you know, our community groups are still perhaps getting used to. So it's up to us, I think, to make sure they're fully aware of it. And yeah, let's try and get some more assets out in the community for them, some help.
Thank you, Councillor Beard. Is there any other commentary? If not, I'll put the recommendation to a vote. All those in favour? Carried. Thank you. We move on to item 10, which is other business. Councillors, is there any other items you'd like to raise at the moment? Councillor Cole.
I'll just raise one thing and note that Penny Smith had a gold medal win in somewhere. Doha, that's right. I knew it was another extraordinary event that she's done, and kicking amazing goals for the area and things. So yeah, don't go out poaching up around our way. She will shoot you. She doesn't miss.
Thank you, Councillor Cole. Any other items councillors like to raise?
Yes, Madam Mayor, I've got a statement I'd like to make.
Councillor Hickey, go for it.
Thanks, Mayor. And I raised this at the risk of any further speakers. And as I look around the room, I think we probably will be talking about the same issue. However, the order of business doesn't allow this, so I'll go first. The highest areas of risk of disease spread amongst livestock is during transport. Livestock operators know and understand these risks and recognise that steps need to be taken to provide mitigation when transporting livestock around country Victoria. The AgVic website states an efficient, co-effective, cost-effective and clean fleet of livestock transport is central to maintaining profitable, disease-free livestock and meets the needs of the livestock producers. And I add, protect Victoria's large domestic and export dairy industry and meat processing sector too. And of course, an event of an outbreak of disease will be devastating for the Corangamite Shire. Zoonotic diseases such as Q fever and leptospirosis can easily be spread by airborne particles, which is dust, to the wider community and in general be transmitted to humans. Whilst Victoria is relatively free of anthrax, FMD, or foot and mouth disease, and VCJD, or more commonly known as mad cow disease, this status can easily be compromised by poor biosecurity when transporting livestock. The lack of capacity to effectively keep our agriculture industry, and this $3 to $4 billion industry, free from disease and spread is a threat to the industry, and it needs to be addressed. There needs to be a statewide collaboration to establish a truck wash facility in our region, following the closure of 2 bays at Camperdown recently and 2 bays at Warrnambool some time ago. In my opinion, all stakeholders need to come together to resolve this issue to protect one of our most important industries. It's been demonstrated on many occasions that prevention of an emergency is far cheaper and easier in dollar terms and in man hours than rectification and returning the situation to the status quo. Absolute disease prevention in agriculture, whilst desirable, needs careful risk mitigation. Mitigating these risks require diligent practice and adherence to biosecurity protocols by all sectors of the community, and adequate and efficient facilities are required to enable this to happen. Regular vehicle cleaning is one of these risk mitigations. Ensuring that transport vehicles are thoroughly cleaned and disinfected after each use to remove any pathogens is one of the key strategies to reducing the risk of disease spread. The loss of multiple truck wash bays is impacting on the efficiency of our transport operators, and by unnecessarily retracing their steps, it costs fuel, time, and both which are very expensive, and also allows the spread of disease to happen. And just imagine yourselves if we had to travel an extra 30 or 40 k's a day to fill our cars as just part of a daily routine of dropping off school kids or picking up groceries or the like. It's an imposition on their time, and it's an imposition on the industry. Whilst all stakeholders, including council, must be proactive in preventing biosecurity threats, an overarching responsibility to manage biosecurity issues lies within the state government. I believe this issue is far too critical now to just sit on our collective hands. That's all. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Councillor. He spoke with great passion. Thank you. Councillors, is there any other business? I do. Oh. Sorry, Councillor Beard.
Can I
Sure.
Just a shout out that there'll be a local government.
Took the words out of my mouth.
Oh, well, I'll let you do it.
No, go for it, Councillor Beard. You're
I'll
onto it.
let you do it.
No, go for it.
Now, there's a policing forum that'll be held here in the Kalara Centre on the 18th of March. So the evening of the 18th of March, you do have to register on the Eventbrite, but I'm pretty sure they'll be happy for anyone to turn up on the night. Having been to the one that was held in Warrnambool, we did give the feedback we would have loved to have seen one specific to Corangamite and the communities here in Corangamite. So that's great that they have got that on, that they're coming to that. And at the one in Warrnambool particularly, they had detectives, specialised officers that were able to talk to specific issues or concerns within the community. So can highly recommend it if you can get along, certainly do. Please add if there's any further.
No, Councillor Beard, you're taking all the words out of our mouths yet again. No, I have something else to add though. We have International Women's Day coming up on Thursday. Let me get the date right, otherwise I'll 6th of March. It's happening at the Lake Edge Cafe between 9 and 10:30. We have some speakers there, local people. So Lois Duplay and Anne Roslin will be speaking as well. We have Alison Byrne from the courthouse as well speaking. So I encourage everyone to come along for that lovely morning tea out there and listen to all those speakers as well for the International Women's Day. We also have, March is a very busy month, so if you look into our calendar on the website, there's lots of things happening, but there's also the community engagement happening on the 13th of March, Mr. Ray? 12th. You've written the 13th on my calendar, sorry. So there's two happening on the 12th of March, which is Wednesday, the 12th of March at 2 o'clock. And then there's another one at 6 o'clock. So this is where the community can get involved. Let us know what they'd like to see going forward for the Corangamite Shire and have your views heard, and so then we can help shape the council plan going forward, because we're here for you guys. It's not our plan, it's the community's plan, so we really need your input as to what you would like to see happen in the community for the Corangamite Shire going forward, for future proofing it for the future years. So really encourage you to come along on Wednesday the 12th of March here at the Kalara Centre at 2 o'clock or at the 6 o'clock session. So, but all the details are on our website, so please jump on our website on the calendar events and you'll see them all there, and there's lots of things happening for the month of March. Is that it? Oh, sorry. Nurut Fun Run's on this Friday. If you'd like to do that, I'm participating, so if anyone would like to run with me, come along. It's a great family event. It's 5.75 kilometres, I think it is, and it's a great little family event. So come along to that as well. Open forum. Mr. Ray, is there any questions or statements that are being submitted?
Madam Mayor, there's nothing online.
Excellent. I do note that we have some members in our gallery. Would anyone like to speak this afternoon? Come to the lectern, just state your name. You have 5 minutes to speak and go for it.
This is a little different instead of sitting behind the wheel of the truck.
No worries.
CEO, Mayor, councillors, shall I start and others? My name is Don Bell. I'm a livestock transport operator here in Camperdown. And my topic today is biosecurity and the reopening of Camperdown Truck Wash for the build of the new one. As you all have seen, around the streets, the spread of effort on the streets and roads around the town. This is due to our tanks overflowing and our trucks not being able to be washed out between loads. Excuse me for reading this. Very good at this.
You're right, take your time.
This can lead to the spread of disease, and as I've already stipulated at the moment, Q fever, leptospirosis is a disease that can be transferred to people. It's probably pretty well known. Also, the spread of that also is unwashed trucks can lead to the spread of anthrax, gounies, foot and mouth, mad cow disease, etc., etc. Now, I believe if this was to happen, the cost of this is going to come back from the state government to the Shire, which I think will be considerable, very considerable actually. I think it would be more costly than it would be to operate a truck wash, whether that truck wash will make a profit or not. Remember, we pay to wash our trucks out, so the truck wash won't be totally a free situation. And the other thing too is we can be fined for the effort of overflowing out of our trucks onto the road as an unsecure load, so on and so on. And we cannot control the habits of cattle, obviously. So we need the truck wash to be reopened or something in the local vicinity because we can't travel to wash our trucks out to Mortlake or Colac or wherever. Each time we've got to do it between loads of different customers. And, I think, I don't know, I'm a bit passionate about this, to be honest. I don't know why, I'm getting too bloody old to be doing this, but anyhow. The truck wash to me is a very important thing, and that's possibly all I really want to say about it. But, yeah, please consider it and think about us. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bell. Anyone else? Sure. State your name. You've got 5 minutes. That's okay. Take your time.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Roger Clifford. I run a small business called Transstock, and we operate 5 livestock trucks servicing the local area, as well as intrastate and interstate. Livestock transport isn't just a job for me, it's in my blood. My father, Tim, has dedicated over 50 years to the industry, and I had the privilege of joining him more than 35 years ago. For the past 18 years, I've taken on the responsibility of running that business, continuing the legacy he built with hard work and dedication. The industry is not for the faint-hearted. It's tough, relentless, and demands long hours away from their families. We put in an incredible amount of effort, often for little reward, but we do it because we care about our livestock, our clients, and our community. At Transcock, we believe in supporting local businesses wherever it is possible, because we know that when one of us thrives, we all do. Over the years, I've witnessed a lot of changes. Some for the better, some not. From the days loading cattle onto the train at the sale yards to the closure of Camden sale yards. Our industry has evolved, but so too have the challenges we face. One of the biggest challenges today is maintaining cleanliness and biosecurity. The issue of washing trucks and stock crates has never been more important. With the rising costs and stricter regulations of effluent management, this is why we're here today to put forward the case of reinstating the camping and truck wash. A crucial part of our job is washing out between every single load of cattle, whether we're picking up from sale yards or doing private jobs moving stock from farm to farm. A clean crate is essential, not just for the welfare of the animals, but biosecurity and disease prevention. The ability to wash out quickly and effectively impacts every aspect of our work. With the cost of everything skyrocketing, washing our vehicles has become a major financial burden. Sundays were once a quieter day and now one of our busiest, and we struggle to find drivers while also managing penalty rates, superannuation and work health. But perhaps the biggest frustration for us is waiting 2 or 3 hours at a truck wash just to get our job done. And it's not just on Sundays, it's every day of the week. Every hour spent waiting in line is an hour we can't be on the road doing what we need to do to keep the industry moving. And when we are forced to travel to Northgate or further just to wash out, it not only adds significant cost to our operation, but also puts that financial strain on our clients, our hard-working farmers. Due to the need to wash out between each load, if we were to do a private job, moving cattle for a farmer around Camberdown, they would have to bear that cost. Unfortunately, potentially it's up to around the $500 mark, might be more for a bigger truck. This is an unnecessary financial burden that could be avoided with the local truck wash facility. The reality is we're doing everything we can to absorb these costs, but we simply can't anymore. The Camberdown truck wash isn't just a want, it's a necessity. It would be an invaluable asset, not just for the transport operators, but for the farmers, who I truly believe are the lifeblood of the Shire and of the Shire itself. This isn't just about trucks, it's about community, sustainability and the future of our industry. We need practical solutions that allow us to continue doing what we do best, supporting agriculture, feeding the community and keeping the region moving. I urge you all to consider the importance of reinstating the Camberdown truck wash. It's not just an investment in us, it's an investment in all of us. I thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you, Mr. Clifford.
My name is Tori Becker, and my husband Jeremy and I run the Becker Transport out of Auckland. In 2018, we bought our first trade truck and got a start at Camberdown Sale Yards, which is a place that still holds real meaning for us. Since then, we've continued to grow and now operate 4 trucks and employ 3 local people, carting sheep and cattle across the district. But we're more than just a livestock transport service. We're part of a rural community. We're also farmers, and we live and breathe agriculture. We understand firsthand the challenges that come with it. Our job is not just about moving livestock, it's about ensuring animal welfare, supply chain efficiency, and the livelihoods of the farmers who depend on us. Today, I stand before you with urgency, passion, and a deep sense of responsibility to advocate for the reinstatement of the Camberdown truck wash. Agriculture is the largest sector of the Corangamite Shire economy, generating $805 million in economic output in 2021, which is 30% of the total output. It also accounts for 32% of total employment. The Council's vision is clear: a prosperous agricultural sector that underpins a thriving community. But how can we achieve this vision if we don't support fundamental infrastructure that keeps our industry moving? As Roger and Don have mentioned, the local livestock sector has undergone major changes in the last few years. Sale yard closures have drastically reduced options for producers, turning a once manageable schedule where cattle were carted to 4 different sale yards on 4 different days into an unsustainable burden. Now, most of these cattle are transported to Mortlake on a Sunday, putting additional strain on both transporters and producers. This shift has significantly increased truck traffic to Mortlake, creating a greater demand for washout facilities. More trucks starting to a single yard means substantial wait times, particularly as the number of B-doubles servicing the sale yards continues to rise. At the same time, costs are increasing across the board, from fuel and maintenance to compliance and labour. Our industry is struggling, our farmers are struggling. And while we can't absorb all the additional costs, we also can't place the burden on our producers. It would be easy to ignore this issue, to say the yards are closed, that the wash is inoperable, let's just move on. But I implore you, don't take the easy option. There are other shires successfully operating standalone washes in Victoria, including Gunnewarra Shire, who operate the Corangamite Truck Wash, Geelong City Council, who operate the Geelong Truck Wash, Loddon Shire, who operate Port and Corangamite Truck Washes. Follow their lead. Support the farmers and the transporters who are the backbone of this community. Be ahead of the game down the track when we're challenged by biosecurity threats. We urge you to undertake a trial reopening of the Camperdown Truck Wash. Given the uncertainty in the data and the changing patterns of livestock transport, let's take a practical step. Gather real numbers and assess the actual need before we make a final decision. I stand before you today to urge you to take action. Reinstating the truck wash is not just the right thing to do, it's a necessary thing to do. It's an investment in the people who drive this economy, an investment in our farmers, an investment in our future. Thank you for your time, consideration, and most importantly, your commitment to the people that you serve. We look forward to working together to restore the Camperdown Truck Wash.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Bedecker.
It gives me no joy to stand before you today and express to you what the 4 people before me have said. If you turned off the power and took away all human toilets, there'd be an uproar. You've got to do something. You can't sit there, and you've got to realise what the Shire exists for. The Shire exists for the community and the people that drive the trucks that transport the cattle. I guarantee you they are the hardest working transport drivers in the country. And they do the most dangerous job for the littlest pay, and everyone here would earn heaps more than they do, and you should feel ashamed of yourself that nothing has been done, because this has gone on for 12 months or more. You've got the perfect site. What's the problem? Can't you talk one water into putting a truck wash at their front gate? If you have to thump the table to get the state government behind you, then we'll do it, because it is so important. And as I said at the beginning, it gives me no joy to stand before you and say what I'm doing there. And you probably think, Leslie, what's going on about? Well, it's bloody serious. I've been through this twice before. They wanted to bring, if there was an outbreak of a disease, bring the diseased animals to landfill. And I said no, because can you guarantee that no fluids will get on our roads in the meantime? No. And I said that's why it won't be. And when the NAFRI put the price up, I said you can't let that happen, because what was happening was people were digging shallow graves and putting their livestock in. And if we got some heavy rain, then you know what germs and everything are all about. You've got to do something, and it's no joke. So please don't just sit there and say, some people like Les, they get up and make a big roar about something. If you've got to thump the table to get the state government behind you, then do it, because you exist for the people of this shire and you have an obligation to everyone, and health and safety is a very important thing. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Mr Mulholland, and we don't think it's a joking or a laughing matter. We are taking this very seriously. So I thank you all for coming today and putting your cases forward. We've heard them loud and clear, and we'll take all those notes on notice, and we'll hopefully have something for you in the near future. I can't guarantee when, but we'll see what we can do for you. But thank you again for your time and presenting to us today. I really do appreciate it. On that note, there's nothing else, nothing further. I thank you all for tuning in today. I do encourage you all to jump on the website, look at the calendar events. There's plenty of events happening in Corangamite Shire for the month of March, so make sure you get out there and enjoy all the community events. Until then, take care. See you next month.